to different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies and then you step up into different things.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show, only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful Wednesday morning because we're having a very important and interesting conversation about climate change, right? We're having a very important conversation about the IPCC report that was released recently as well, and why that report is so important because it is said to be the starkest warning yet from the IPCC with regard to climate change, with regard to whatever what is happening currently with with the climate. All right, now if you don't know what the IPCC is, it's basically this intergovernmental panel for it basically stands for Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. All right, so if you want to find out more about this, if you really like the content that we talk about, well, you can actually be a part of this show, and the way for you to do that actually is by calling or texting me on 07852473473. All right, so share your thoughts, share your opinions with me, because that would be absolutely amazing, and I would absolutely love to hear whatever it is that you have to say. So don't actually forget to do that. All right, and I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is just text me on 07852 you can text me or call me on 07852473473, and that's just another very quick reminder. And don't forget to go follow us on our socials. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, because you can always go check out our live videos that are happening on all of our channels. All right. And something else that you can actually do is to download an app which is available for free on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest, and you're helping yourself and your friends by informing yourself as well. All right. Now let's actually get into our topic, because we're going to be talking about, the IPCC report. I want to get into more detail. I want to get into a little bit into the climate crisis and what exactly this report has said. Okay, so let's actually talk about this a little bit. Now, the IPCC actually said that the Earth's average surface temperature is projected to hit 1.5 or 1.6 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels around 2030, right? And this is in all 5 of the greenhouse gas emission scenarios, which basically range from highly optimistic to reckless. All right, and all of these scenarios are in fact considered by the report. So in all of these instances, it is still going to hit either 1.5 or 1.6 degrees. All right, and the reason those numbers are so important essentially is because you need to understand that that is in fact a full decade earlier than the IPCC just predicted 3 years ago. So within the span of 3 years, we've managed to reduce the amount of time that we actually have to save the planet, right? And we reduced it by 10 years, because this was supposed to happen, we were supposed to reach these temperatures in 2040. However, now we're going to reach it in 2030, and that's just 9 years away. So if you don't take those necessary steps in these 9 years, well, I guess we're all in for a very scary ride as well. Okay, now something else that you need to keep in mind also, obviously, is how the natural climate allies are weakening. All right. Now, since about 1960, forests, soil, and oceans have actually absorbed about 56% of all the carbon dioxide humanity has sort of chucked into the atmosphere, right? And this was all, absorbed by the forest, the soil, and even the oceans, right? And even as those emissions have increased by half, those were our main sources of basically carbon dioxide absorption, right? Now, with the environment sort of dying, our plants dying, forests burning, sea levels rising, and whatnot, Earth is actually much hotter and a less hospitable place, right? And even and this is without nature's help, right? So without nature, without all of these natural climate allies, we're actually living in a much more hotter and less hospitable place. So these allies in our fight against global heating are actually known as carbon sinks, and they're basically showing signs of becoming saturated, and the percentage of human induced carbon that they soak up is actually very, very likely to decline, which means that now the sort of carbon they will be consuming will actually be much, much, or rather absorbing will be much, much lesser, which means that there's still going to be a lot of carbon dioxide in the air, which is going to result in, the greenhouse gas emissions, the carbon emissions, that story all over again. All right. And something else that this report has found out is this new science, right? It's a new field, rather, and it's called attribution science, because what it basically does is it quantifies the extent to which human induced global heating has increased the intensity and even the likelihood of a specific extreme disaster. Things like heat waves, hurricanes, or wildfires. That is basically measured through attribution science, and within weeks, these scientists have actually established that the record-shattering heat wave that devastated British Columbia in June would actually have been impossible without the influence of climate change. So that basically happened because of climate change. All right. Now, make sure you stay tuned because I have a lot more left to tell you about this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to keep talking more about this.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one because they're nice and bright. So they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. That's very important, right? Because you want cars,
very important. And also, like people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I'm super, super excited to be here because we're having a very important and interesting conversation with regard to climate change. All right. Now, before we head into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is just text me on 078-52-473-473. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions on the climate crisis. Let me know what you think about this and what you feel about this as well. All right. So do get in touch with me. You can text me or call me on 078-52-473-473, or you can even text me. You can even get in touch with me through our socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube as well, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest and you're always updated about everything that happens in the world. All right. So don't forget to do that. Now, before we head into the conversation, you can actually go download our app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest in terms of, science, sports, technology, whatever it is. You can actually always be updated. All right, so don't forget to do that. Now, something else that you can actually do is to download the app to join the conversation live and whatnot. That way you can actually make sure that you are contributing to the conversation and helping us know your thoughts and your opinions with regard to the conversation. However, now let's actually very quickly dive into the rest of the IPCC report, because obviously we have a lot to be talking about it in terms of the climate change catastrophe that we will face if we don't take the necessary steps that we need to take. All right, now global oceans have in fact risen about 20 centimeters, which is roughly about 8 inches since 1900, right? And the rate of increase has actually tripled in the last decade. So in the last 10 years, the way in which the sea has risen, the levels in which the sea has risen, has in fact tripled. All right, and this was just in the past 10 years. Okay, now crumbling and melting ice sheets that are on top of Antarctica, or even Greenland, even Greenland, they have actually replaced this glacier melt as the main driver. All right. And even if we basically cap global warming at about 2 degrees Celsius, the ocean watermark will actually go up about half a meter over the 21st century, right? And that means that this will actually continue rising to nearly 2 meters by 2300. And that's in fact twice the amount that was predicted by the IPCC in 2019. All right, so you can basically see how much of terrible things will happen to us if we don't take the necessary steps that we need to take. All right, and the last time the planet's atmosphere was as warm as it is today was in fact about 125,000 years ago, right? Where global sea levels were likely 5 to 10 meters higher, and that level actually would put many major coastal cities underwater, right? We would basically be like sunken islands or sunken cities, right? And 3 million years ago, when atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration actually matched today's levels and temperatures, they were actually 2.5 degrees Celsius to about 4 degrees Celsius higher. And sea levels were actually 25 meters higher. Okay, so this is not something that we can't change. If we keep waiting and if we don't actually take any action, then of course we can't change it, right? However, if we start taking some action now, we can actually change it. All right, so make sure you understand that and make sure you take the necessary steps that you need to take. If not, we're all going to be a part of this climate crisis, and we're all going to have to suffer. And I don't want anything to happen to you or me or any of us, because ultimately this is our planet, so we do have a role in taking care of it and making sure that we do what's best for our planet. All right, now make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. But obviously until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for?